Often called the peacemaker. Nines are easygoing, kind, and they want to avoid conflict as much as possible. Nines can be passive and struggle to keep their opinions and needs to themselves in order to not rock the boat or not to be a burden to anyone. So, the first mental health tip that I gave to nines is to pay attention to and express your needs to others. Rather than deny or downplay your needs, express them again to some trusted people in your life to help fill up your relational and emotional tanks. And then the second mental health tip I gave for nines is to make a list of why you matter. Why do you believe that your presence, your voice, and your life matters? Write down all the reasons why you matter and then believe them to the core of your being and begin to live out of those truths. Psychiatrist Kurt Thompson, I'm a big fan of his work. He said to ask yourself this question: whose life is going to be made more beautiful because you walked into the room?
Mm.
And that is such a great question for all of us to consider, but especially for nines who struggle with knowing that, does my presence matter? Your presence does matter. And so the more work you can do in really grasping that truth as a nine can really go a long ways in having good, solid mental health. So those
Mm.
are my thoughts. What other insights do you have?
So good. Well, sometimes I've mistaken some nines to be sixes because they're dealing with anxiety or trauma or so sometimes nines can look like sixes when they're
Mhm.
struggling with mental health issues because they may
Yeah.
face a generalized anxiety disorder resulting in excessive worry and restlessness. So difficulties in asserting themselves can further contribute to their anxiety, feeling that they're constantly getting run over by others. Uh, so this can lead to a detachment from reality.
Yeah.
So when they're battling mental health issues, nines' tendency is to disengage from conflicts, from stressful situations, and it may lead to dissociative experiences. So they may feel detached from reality and sort of existing in a dreamlike state in an unfamiliar world. So
Yeah.
again, they need to realize that when they're detaching themselves from the world, numbing themselves out, often like fives, and they need to re-engage, get help, and reconnect with reality. The last thing I'll say is they need to watch out for the people pleasing trap, like type
Yep.
twos. So nines often rely on people pleasing to maintain harmony. They neglect their own needs, like twos do. This is why nines and twos oftentimes mistype. So this strong desire for harmony can prevent them from expressing their true feelings, their true needs, their true desires, and it can lead them into toxic relationships.
Mm.
So nines and twos need to watch out for toxic relationships. The reason you might be struggling with mental health and the reason you might have low grade anxiety is because you're not fighting for yourself. You're in a relationship. It could be a parent with a relationship with a parent. It could be a romantic relationship, and you've put yourself in this relationship, and you're not standing up for yourself. You're trying to people please them. For nines, is to keep the harmony,
Yep.
right? Uh, and realize that being in that relationship, and again, it could be a romantic relationship, it could be a parent relationship, it could be a relationship with your work, your
Yeah.
boss,
Yep.
and it could be toxic. And the way to get the way to get healthy is to bring what Henry Cloud says is a necessary ending, to make a necessary ending, to leave that relationship, leave that
Yeah.
workplace if it's affecting your mental health, and just to say goodbye. And that's
Yeah.
so hard for nines to do because they just want to go along to
Yep.
get along
Yep.
and just be that object that just keeps floating in space just forever with that in
Yeah.
that with that one person, with that one job or that one career. But sometimes you may need to get out of line and to move in a different direction in order to
Yeah.
stay sane, stay
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd say about the nines.